Trust your neighbour. Although citizens are encouraged to show trust and good faith in their exchanges, the reality in many nations is it's a risk people cannot afford to take. This, however, is not the case in Castile. We have successfully stamped out corruption on so many levels in society. People not only trust the officials to do their jobs without the extra help of a bribe, but they also trust each other more in general exchanges. This general belief in the honesty of others is the very thread from which the fabric of society is woven, and our country is a shining example of it. Marketplace done. Okay, so that's what we were doing. We were building up marketplaces in the Ivory Coast to try and secure more of the trade here. Although between us and Portugal, I think we're directing a fair amount of the money in the way that we want. New land claimed. Our authorities in Pamarayong have managed to open up new land for our people by clearing a dense forest that once made up a large part of the area inhospitable for settlement. These newly cleared areas will surely lead the population boom there. So Pararayung is over here. That's Palembang. That one. This is a gold province, so definitely 100% production. Sweet. And actually, speaking of production, we are going to want to increase the development here too. Do we want to trade company this? Probably. I can't see this one being as valuable as the other gold mine. And it's just one gold mine as opposed to a whole state of them. So once this has been converted, then we will do that. While drilling, Enrique improved his siege skill. Jolly good. Now, where are my armies? This is probably quite good to know. Big army is in Castile. Medium army is in Mexico. Little army is in Malacca. And we were thinking of going after Malacca at some point. I don't think that was going to be an immediate option, but it's going to be soon. Let's increase the size of our military here so that we can actually do that. Tariffs on coffee. Absolutely. Tax it to death. Tea is superior. We have always made it our policy to propagate trade between our good people and the strange peoples of the New World. As of late, however, the Aboriginal traders have come to us asking not for food or medical supplies, but for symbols and tools of worship for the Catholic faith, and are even requesting to be ordained as priests, so that may spread the faith amongst their entire tribe. Welcome to the faith. Absolutely. Because I believe that this is the game where we have got minus 100% native uprising. And we can tell that by going to government and then country modifiers and taking a look here. Going down to N for native. Uprising chance, minus 100%. So they'll never rise up. So their aggressiveness and ferocity is irrelevant. We also have 100% assimilation, which is quite nice. Soul Slurpee is continuing the gift sub they got from Slurfin. Thank you very much for that, Soul Slurpee. I really wish that came up as a pop-up. Unfortunately it doesn't, and I don't think there's anything I can do about that. But thank you. Very much appreciate the ongoing support. Edward6960, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And our celebration, Soul Slurpee would like me to drink some tea. I enjoy listening to these during my workday. Thanks for the great content. You are welcome, Dana. I always take the first option. To me, it just doesn't seem to make sense long-term wise. Which one do you mean, Katie? Commie Dies, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. France would like me to share a map of Guinea. No. This is my maps. You can't have them. I don't want you colonising here faster. Why would I do that? Like, I like you, France. We're allied. But not that much. Colony is self-sustaining. Excellent. We need to do something with that. Safala have insulted us. May your sky be filled with comets. Ooh, that's risky, Safala. I'm not sure you necessarily want to do this. If I knew where you were. Could have sworn you were over here. Oh no, you're over here, aren't you? Yeah, there you are. Cardinal Minister, one of the cardinals in Castile, is proven to be a skilled administrator and is already providing useful advice to the king. At this point, making him a minister in our government would almost only be a formality, but an important formality nonetheless. I don't think I necessarily want you. I would rather take the prestige. Marital bliss. Her Majesty, the Queen Consort, is of course a constant companion and good advisor in her own right. However, apart from the role of the Queen Consort, is also a representative of the Crown of Zuniga. So they would give me... Oh man, this is tempting. Zuniga is offering to provide a gifted counsellor for the Royal Council. Military. Which is the one that we don't have. Yeah, okay. I agree. And we will promote you. And there we go. That's going to save us 5 ducats a month. Awesome. Colony self-sustaining. Right, where was that? That was Lower Limpopo. So we basically have another colonist that we can send out somewhere. Yeah, I usually like to have one extra. So we could get Great Karoo to block Portugal, and I think that would actually be a fairly good idea. Who's this? Brittany. Yeah, I think I want Great Karoo. Are you part of the same... No. Damn. It's a different state. In that case, I don't care that much. Well, actually, it depends on what resources you potentially can get. If it's more gold, then I might be interested. Gold 5%, gems 5%, gold 6%. Yeah, okay, both of those are actually relatively viable. Where else would we send you? Australia or Indonesia or Brazil? There's actually a lot of places that we need to be focusing on. One thing I would like to do is link this up. Yeah, both of those are 7 devs. They're going to be quite important. Great Karoo is also a 7. I think Great Karoo is an important one. Yeah, we're going to take that. Okay, so we are going to remove our colonist from one of the other places, probably Yongnu. And then we're going to send you to the Great Karoo instead. Off you go. Really tempted to get another one going as well. We'll get 6 in unison, because right now we are paying... That would be 4 ducats. The next one would be 8. I don't think I necessarily want to pay 8 ducats. No, I don't. Okay, we have 2 more light frigates. We're going to group you together and then send you off to Zanzibar as well. Which we now control. Good. And we probably want to prepare a war against Sofala. So they are allied to Sakala. Oh, this is a fight we've already done before. This is how I took this land in the first place, I think. Right. Yes, it is. How big is my transport fleet here? 17. We'll send these 2 to Zanzibar. And then you basically need another 2 cogs built out here. That should do. Brunei is starting to get some rebel risk, but that's not a huge issue. Black news! Queen Consort Regency. The king just died. Our queen, however, is a 343. She is quite good. She's also a settler. Excellent. Global settler increase goes up. I don't remember how good our king was. I think he was worse than this. I seem to remember this being a 12 and these were both 1 digit. So I think that the Queen Consort is actually fairly better than he was. And Felipe is not great, but he's also not terrible. I mean, 9 points, this one under the average that I like to go for. This version still has the mercenary bug. Had a game with Ming, was 10,000 in debt by 1480. Ouch. Also, as the Commonwealth, the Ottomans deleted everything except for the mercenaries after they got into war with the Amaluks. hired even more mercenaries instead of regular troops and went bankrupt even though they have manpower to burn. Yeah, they've got some issues. Oh yeah, there is, you're right. We can go to the ledger, then we can take a look at previous rulers. So the previous ruler was a 343, identical to Maria. Like none of our rulers... Actually no, Eagle Slayer was pretty good. 12 points, so was Smashed. We haven't had any which are just like outstanding. Native policies always take the first option. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Let's actually talk about that, because I think it's a while since we touched on this. So, native coexistence does give you the native uprising chance reduction of minus 100%. This does mean that you never need to garrison colonies. You can just throw out a colonist and just leave troops not there. The downside to this is it is dead easy to protect these colonies. I find you only never need like 2,000 or 3,000 men. And as long as you have your economy to keep your army maintenance at least half, preferably full, then that basically never becomes a problem. This is why I very often have a colonial fleet which just moves around with the 3,000 stacks, protecting the colonies. And there are also a lot of reforms, especially if you have expansion and exploration, for example this one, which gives you another 50% native uprising chance. And that is because the next one, which is the native trading policy, also gives you a native uprising chance minus 50%. So you only need the extra 50% for there never to be any native uprisings again. And I very often work to try and get that. Also playing as France, France has a national idea, which is a 50% native uprising chance reduction. So you never need to go with cooperation as the French, which is kind of hilarious because the French were probably the best with native peoples. Then finally there is the native repression policy, which will increase your global settler increase, so you will get a lot of colonies going very quickly, but your colonies will be less productive. And the reason for that is the other half of the native trading policy, which gives you that plus 50% native assimilation. And basically what that means is every native province has a set of people already living there. Well, not every, but most. So in North America, it's usually not huge numbers. In Africa, they can be enormous numbers. Okay, South Africa's a bad example. Here we go. 5,000 people in Bonny. And then basically, if you have native assimilation, then that portion will count for a goods produced bonus. So if you are... Don't mention Belgium and the natives. Yeah, you're not wrong. If you're assimilating territories with lots and lots of natives, as we have been doing, this is part of the reason we're so aggressive in Africa at the moment, you will get big goods produced bonuses. So for example, if we go to the Cape Coast, which I believe is one of the colonies that we established, then we go to production... No, goods produced, there it is. We can see that we have an assimilated natives bonus of 0.48. That's basically 50% bonus to the production of the Cape Coast, because of the fact that there were a lot of natives here and we had a high native assimilation. More goods produced means you are producing more production income for a start, and more importantly, you're also producing more trade value. Goods produced is affecting both of those. And the more trade value you're producing, the more trade you can shift around the world. The more trade you're shifting around the world, the more cash you can basically print for yourself in your home node. So definitely it's a good idea, I think, to get that native assimilation if you can do it. Some nations, I think particularly in multiplayer, will prefer to go for the native repression because they just want to get colonies going as quickly as possible because there's a contest for taking up space. Against the AI, not as big an issue. They don't tend to be as competitive colonially. And the native coexistence, if you just don't have the economy to maintain armies abroad, that can be a good one. But I would say that native coexistence is probably the weakest of the three, personally. I almost always find myself doing native trading policy. It's just such a small investment to leave 3,000 men out there. Even as Lubeck, I was doing it. And then the native repression can be nice. I just like that assimilation bonus. So the choice here is really between, do you want wealthy colonies or do you want big colonies? It's roughly 2,000 natives for a 0.1 goods produced base. There you go. And I'm getting double that because my native assimilation is 100%. So areas like Australia are also going to have a high assimilation because it's fairly highly populated. Out here, Indonesia, very high population, so again we'll have very high goods produced. In fact, that is a centre of trade. We should probably take that. Alright, sod it. I'm going to take another one. We're going to say Tiwi. We're going to recall you, and we're going to send you here instead. Cool. That is going to reduce the amount of money we're making, but so be it. I think at this stage it is very worthwhile just investing loads and loads of cash in building up your empire. Like, we are in the empire building phase. So this game is very much like split into different phases. You have the Middle Ages, which is like the initial scramble for territory. Then you have the colonization phase, which is the scramble for foreign territories. Then you have like the consolidation phase, where everyone's just trying to like stamp down on what they've got and start building up a little bit more. That's when you'll start seeing like trade nations really start to take off. And then you've got like the imperialistic phase, which is when the nations who don't necessarily have as big empires will start to aggressively strike out and try and take them from you. That's generally like the time when Castile and Portugal start to fall off, and people like the Great Britain and France to a lesser extent will start to take off. And then you have the industrial phase, where it's just massive armies going at it. Notice even with the middle one I end up with a lot of uprisings, and I end up with less than half the people I started with. That doesn't change populations. If there's an uprising, it doesn't actually affect the base population at all. The only time that the base population of a colony will be affected is if you press the button, which is kill the natives. I can't even remember what that is. Oh, you need an army. Let's see. It's you. That one. The only time native populations will be reduced is if you attack the natives with that button. This button is basically do not ever press it. There is no point to it. Because that goods produced bonus, even if you don't have the assimilation bonus, is strong enough that you want to try and keep the natives around. It's only if you absolutely cannot afford to keep an army there that you should press this, and at that point, how are you pressing this? You shouldn't have an army there. You can't afford it. So don't press this button. It's a bad button. For more than one reason. Alright, Guy's continuous scheming and plotting has infuriated the nobles and made him some powerful enemies amongst the aristocracy. England's having yet another civil war. I think this is why Scotland's alive, because England's just having a really, really rough old time of it. And in fact, if we go to the scores page and hover over England, we shall see if they have debt. They do. They're bankrupt. And they've already got loans. Yeah, we're being pretty badly affected by the bankruptcies, the AI bankruptcies. New trade good in Ongthim. Naval supplies. Ah, over here. Cool. Improvements in production technology. There are reports of farmers and miners being more productive than local officials expect them to be. We should investigate if there is something that the entire nation of Castile could benefit from. Do I want more inflation? Yes, I want more inflation, because I can just buy it down again. And we could go up in admin tech. We're still 8 years ahead. I would say that that's just about good enough. I want this yearly inflation reduction, though. So we're going to go and grab it. By establishing a central authority for financial matters, we have better control over the nation's economy. And that is going to be even more natural reduction to inflation, which is good because we're going to become increasingly reliant on gold as the game goes on. Denmark and Sweden are still Catholic. Well, yes, though I don't know why. Denmark is completely converted. So is Bohemia. Like, there are so many countries that even though they're completely converted, just don't switch. Like, Denmark has no reason to still be reformed. Bohemia, except for being emperor, has fewer reasons to be reformed. Bavaria has no reason to... Sorry, not reformed. Has no reason to be Catholic. Bohemia, no reason to be Catholic. Mecklenburg, no reason to be Catholic. There are so many of them. Like, Central Europe should be pretty much Protestant reformed by now. Because the yellow stripes just means that their state religion is Catholic, but the provinces aren't. And like I said, this has been a strong reformation, a very strong one. We have always made it our policy to propagate trade between our good people and the strange people of the New World. As of late, however, the Moluccan traders have come to us asking for not food or medical supplies, but for symbols of faith. Yeah, absolutely. Again, no chance of uprising. It's fine. How is this doing? Has France declared for either side yet? No. Okay. Nueva Castillo treasure fleet has arrived, bringing with it 408 ducats. This does increase our inflation by 0.07%, but that also gives me 400 ducats, which is basically a loan paid off right there. In fact, we are very close to being able to pay off another one. Ireland's only Anglican because England is. Russia has ended the Peasants' War. Congratulations to the Rus. I suspect Rurik II had something to do with that. Renewed loans. Ah, damn. Well, we paid one of them off at least. Oh, we got some more ships. Now these I think are heavies. Yes, they are. So this is our combat fleet, which is growing. And they are severe. Aragon's embargoing us. Alright, so we've now got 14 galleons. I have a feeling that we had a war previously where the lack of galleons was a problem. I think it's not a problem anymore. Although Mamelukes and France still have more than we do. But we're allied to France. And our fleet as a whole is growing thanks to the number of light ships we have. Okay, I think it's almost ready for another war. Malacca... Sulu and Katai. Sulu is one of those guys. Katai, Sulu. Oh, no, that's just Katai. Where's Sulu? Oh, it's this guy, isn't it? Yep. Or we could go after Majapahit. Ooh, speaking of Majapahit, they just released the dev diary for Majapahit, and my goodness, it looks good. Again, don't often get excited about mission trees. I am excited about that mission tree. The latest dev diary looks astonishing, and I'm going to go and find it for you so you can see what I'm on about. Because they do some very interesting things which they have not done before. Including unique CBs for completing parts of the mission tree. So go check that out, because it's good. Is Russia in debt or do they have loans? I don't know. Let's have a look. Score comparison. Russia. Then you can hover over. We can see loans minus 0.02. Divide that by 2. That tells you how many loans they have. They have one loan. They're not bankrupt. And the Ottomans have, oh blimey, 18 loans. So they're a little bit in debt, just a little bit. France also gets a unique CB from its mission tree, so not totally new. Ah, fair enough. But that's new with Emperor, right? Because of the way that France is divvied up amongst vassals now. Malacca is building a spy network. That's unacceptable. Okay, so we have a spy network, a full spy network against Portugal. Do we want to go for any of the Portuguese colonies? I mean, we kind of do want to go for these. Algoa Bay and Zosa. Which was basically completing the Swellendam state. Oh, there's France. We also want to go and take out some of Caribas to secure some more of the trade there. In fact, we want Bani. Bani is one of our missions, which they've been blocking us from. I thought. Yes. Claim Hispaniola. So we need 5 provinces in Haiti and Dominica. We currently have 2. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it looks like they are heavily investing in upgrading Tortuga and Marian. Barney's jungle? It's a centre of trade though. Yeah, I think we do need to go after them. So how about we go to Portugal and say fabricate a claim. Maybe I have to do it on you. Yes, I do. On Barney. And then tomorrow. That was a very quick tomorrow. I didn't realise we're on speed 5. Eldorado's given me 175 ducats. That's very nice of them. Thank you. Then we could declare war. We have an army here, though. Where are my transports? Colonial transports are way out here. That's my battle fleet. And you just circumnavigated the globe, didn't you? So we'll send you off to Zanzibar. That does mean that my armies in the Americas are basically stuck here, so I cannot assist in the Caribbean. However, what I can do is send my navy out here. I wonder who's wealthier, Hispaniola or Caribas? I would imagine Hispaniola, just because we have the whole of Cuba, and also a bunch of the southern islands, which are the highest development. So the area where we're going to be struggling is against these two. And that's why we have this army. Although that's just infantry, hold on. Oh. What's my force limit? I'm already over. Crikey. Okay. Past Mordred, you did a bad thing. Sod it, we're still going to do this. And we're going to send the Admiral here. Alright, let's do it. Declare war on Portugal. We're going to take Lisboa. England will not join. None of my allies will join. That's fine. This is just us versus Portugal. Fantastic. Yeah, England's having big problems. Alright, let's do it. War! We're going to war! And we need another general. Right, because the ruler died. So be it. Alright, this is going to be named after a patron.